Tonight, students dance for fitness.
Plus, students have a unique musical opportunity. Stay tuned. TrojanVision News starts now.
From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is TrojanVision News.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision News for September 19, 2014. I'm Xavier Harris.
And I'm Haley Greathouse. Thank you for joining us this evening. Last night, students gathered in Howell Hall for this semester's third Tea for Troy. Tea for Troy is a place where international and American students can connect through the commonality of tea. This week, Saudi Arabian students hosted the event.
Our presentation was about the Saudi tea, went through the types of teas that we had and how we make our tea and where we export it from. And I explained how it's a big factor of hospitality in Saudi Arabia, so it's really important.
And the unique thing about Saudi tea is when they drink it.
People would usually prefer to drink it after a meal, like a heavy meal they have, just to help them digest.
These presentations allow students to learn something new about different cultures.
I thought it was really cool that they had just told us about kind of the background, about how the tea came about and different other teas from different countries that influence their tea.
I thought it was interesting learning about the different teas and the different places where they're imported from. I didn't know they imported from so many different places. And I thought they had a flower tea that was really interesting. I'd never seen a tea made out of a really huge flower before.
After the presentation, students are able to try the country's tea, and they are often surprised at the taste.
Well, I tried the mint tea, and it's really sweet, and normally I don't like sweet tea, but I really like this one.
This Tea for Troy served a dual purpose by also promoting the upcoming celebration of Saudi Arabian National Day.
I think this is the 84th, if I'm not wrong, and basically we're gonna have a lot of different kind of food there, so the students can eat, and we're gonna have the traditional clothes. We're gonna allow people to wear and take pictures with us.
Saudi Arabian National Day will be celebrated Tuesday on the Bibgraves Quad from 11 to 2.
Troy University's music department started the All Steinway initiative this year, and Amy Austin gives us a look at the plan, the two newest Steinways on Troy's campus.
Troy University's Department of Music started the All Steinway initiative in March of this year. The reason behind choosing the Steinway brand is because they are the best.
When we talk about the piano world, and then we know the Steinway is the best. And the reason the best because they have been setting up the uncompromised standard for that piano. Usually when they build one grand piano, it takes probably about a year and by almost 300 highly trained people to build that.
The initiative was started in order to have 34 Steinway pianos throughout the music department and to give students the best resources available.
Troy University, our goal is always provide the best to the students. And of course, we want to provide a really good instrument. And when we talk about piano, what's the first? Steinway. So becoming an all Steinway school, it's not only make us look good. It's kind of a proof evidence. It shows Troy want to provide the best instrument to the students.
And Troy has already started purchasing the new Steinways. The two sitting in Long Hall are the first ever of their kind in the world.
We have the first two, sterling silver, a Steinway concert grand, Model D, which is 9 foot long. Another one is Model B, which is 7 foot long concert grand in Troy, and actually they are the first two sterling silver, 9 foot and 7 foot long in the world, and Troy University owns them, and that's a huge and a big step for us on our process to becoming an all-Steinway school.
Amy Austin, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The Steinway initiative is still in progress as the music department looks to raise the rest of the money to purchase the other pianos. Well, Haley, popular Zumba which is a trance dance and exercise for Zumba, and it's not the only way those two come together.
No, Xavier, it's not. Actually, dance and exercise come together in a Chinese form too. Victoria Bailey will explain how the Confucius Institute is bringing this to Troy.
Wednesday on the social quad, the Confucius Institute, along with other students and faculty members, got to enjoy music, food, and dancing while also learning about Chinese culture.
Chinese culture is about Chinese fitness dancing, and the name of this fitness dancing is called the Little Apple. Actually, it's quite popular in urban China, and currently around millions of people are doing it in China. Awesome. So we're going to bring this kind of dance to America, and it is similar to a Zumba.
However, the celebration doesn't stop there. The Institute has a variety of activities still to come.
We also have a lot of Chinese cultural activities going on in this September and also the early of October. And on September 26th, we'll have the Mid-Autumn Festival celebration, and we're going to have a very good performance at the theater of Trojan Center, and afterwards we're going to have a banquet.
Victoria Bailey, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The Confucius Institute also offers Tai Chi classes each Wednesday at 11 a.m. in the lobby outside the Institute's office in Bibb Graves Hall.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. Out of Montgomery, Alabama's unemployment rate has declined slightly. Governor Robert Bentley announced today that 6.9% measured in August was down from 7.0% in July, but the rate was higher than the 6.5% recorded a year ago and the higher than national of 6.1%.
The governor and first lady have joined a growing number of Alabama politicians calling for a federal judge who was charged with battery to resign. Governor Robert Bentley and First Lady Diane Bentley say they think Mark Fuller should resign because he hasn't set an example as a leader.
And in Eufaula, friends and relatives of two men believed to be aboard a plane when it went missing near a Georgia-Alabama border and are asking residents in the area to help in the search. Crews have been searching Lake Eufaula, also on the ground.
Still to come on Troy TrojanVision News, the Troy football team heads to Georgia to take on number 13, the University of Georgia. Amy Austin will have the details on that matchup in sports.
And today, Scotland had a historic vote. We will have the story and more after the break.
Scotland votes to stay in the United Kingdom. I'm Alfonso Van Marsh in London with the results of a divisive election.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Cool party. What do you guys want to drink? Can I have a head-on collision with a concussion twist?
Make mine a fatal accident with no survivors.
And you?
A designated driver, please. You know, just a bottle of water.
Awesome.
You're a lifesaver.
Now, the latest in Trojan sports on Troy TrojanVision News.
The Troy University football team has started the season with a rough patch, 0-3. And this weekend, the team heads to face an SEC opponent, number 13 Georgia, as they look to gain their first victory. After a rough go with Abilene Christian, Troy heads to Athens, Georgia to take on the University of Georgia, and players know this is a tough SEC opponent.
Whew, Georgia. When you say Georgia, you know they're a good team. We're going to have to prepare hard, you know. We got to have a mind state of not going out there thinking that we're going to lose. We got to have a mind state of going out there thinking we're going to win. So this whole week we got to come out here with a sense of urgency, you know, something that we ain't never had before, just because it's Georgia. And we need to do that with every team, but we got to focus on this team first. So we got to come out with a chip on our shoulders at least.
The Trojans are going into this game as the underdog, but senior Chandler Worthy said he's more hungry for a win now more than ever.
I haven't really talked to many of the players, but for me, more than anything, it made me more hungry. I want to win even more now. Just losing to that team and just seeing how you can't take any team for granted. makes us even more hungry for a win because we got to get one. We're scratching and clawing for one. So we all know how much this win could mean if we win this week. So that's the main thing for us, putting our focus in trying to get a W this week.
And the key for Troy is preparation as they try to find a way to upset the Georgia Bulldogs.
I feel like it depends on how you prepare. Pretty sure Abilene Christian came in here as an underdog, just like how we're going to Georgia as an underdog. I feel like that's how we got to look at it. Try to upset them, just how we were upset this week.
Head coach Larry Blakeney said the main goal for his team is to find some way to come out with the victory.
Move forward and try to rectify. The team we playing this week probably ain't no good team to be thinking about rectifying. You know, we got to try to think about finding a way to sneak up on them and try to come out of there and with some kind of victory. We'll look forward to the trip and the plan and try to execute and come out of there with some semblance of win.
The football team will head to Athens, Georgia to face Georgia with kickoff tomorrow at 11 a.m. And the Troy soccer team heads to Mobile to compete in the Jaguar Classic. Troy is coming off a victory over UAB. The Trojans will be playing 2 games in the tournament. The first will be against Francis Marion, which started at 4 p.m. today. The next game for Troy will be Sunday at 11 a.m. as they take on North Florida. The Trojans are currently 6-2, which is the best start in program history, and if Troy wins today, it will match the school's longest winning record of 7. Troy started at 4, and at last report, they are winning 3-1 at the halftime. And the volleyball team is coming off a victory after breaking their 3-game losing streak and opening conference play with the win. The team is preparing for their next upcoming conference games. The Trojans will head to Arlington, Texas to take on conference foe UT Arlington. Last year, Troy met UT Arlington at home both times. In the first matchup, Troy won in 5 sets. The second time for the 2 teams to meet was in the Sun Belt Conference tournament, where the Mavericks defeated the Trojans in 5 sets. After being on the road, the team will then be back at home on Sunday to take on Appalachian State, a new team to the conference. And with conference play ahead, head coach Sonny Kirkpatrick knows his team has a rough weekend ahead.
We start preparing for Arlington. I start tonight. We leave tomorrow morning, and we'll prepare on the plane and when we get to the hotel and up until game time. So we've got a lot to do in the next 2 days, but you know that's why we're here. It's going to be a challenging weekend, but we already have that mindset that we expect it, and we just have to work on our touches and try to get better each day.
The volleyball team will take on UT Arlington tonight at 6:30 in Arlington, Texas. And the cross-country team is headed to Gainesville, Florida to compete in the Mountain Dew Gator Invitational. The University of Florida is hosting the meet. There will be 29 women's teams and 27 men's teams, and head coach Elliot Blount said this invitational is where their best will compete.
This is going to be our, this meet coming up in Gainesville, University of Florida is going to be our first real go at it with our projected top 5 for the season. You know, we were kind of piecemealing and being a little bit creative with the race strategy, prior to, but this meet should give us a good idea of, who's the real runners and who are the pretenders. So.
The Mountain Dew Gator Invitational will begin tomorrow at 8:30 a.m.